Thank you for joining us for our presentation of Paul's line of solid wood ripsaws. Paul makes a wide variety of the ripsaws for your ripping application. A lot of different configurations, a lot of different saws, moving blades, fixed arbor, also different in-feed types depending on your application. So we really have a lot of choices to go with. It just really depends on what you need to do, the production level that you need to achieve, into what of our rip saws we would recommend for your application. Whether you need glue line or just high speed would be another factor that's involved here. I'm going to show you many types of systems that we offer, the first being the Power Rip system. In this machine, we have our optimizing ripsaw in-feed. And what's unique about this type of in-feed is that we're not utilizing a fence. This is our fenceless positioning system, and it basically takes the board under a measurement bar. There we're measuring down the length of the board at 16 points, the width of the board. You see here we're using Waney edge boards. That's really because in Europe, a lot of the boards are dried with the wane on, whereas here they're mostly square edged. But we're measuring the width of the board at 16 positions down the length. That allows us to be able to skew the board with our fenceless in-feed table if we find a better ripping solution by doing that. Now here you see set up in our factory in Germany, the machine being tested. So it's not in a production facility at this point. But here you see the in-feed that is bringing the board in, measuring it, lifting it up against a top pressure chain. That allows us complete control of the board without it bouncing off a fence. In the ripsaw itself, we can have a fixed arbor configuration, or the blades can adjust or move based on the width and your cutting list in the computer control. So we get the optimum yield by using a moving blade type saw. And we can have machines from 1 up to 6 moving blades depending on the model of ripsaw we use. Here again you see a ripsaw in-feed. This is a little different. Here we're actually measuring the width of the board, determining a skew position if needed, and then we're showing the operator with laser lines where that board would be ripped. He can accept it or ask for the next solution. After the width has been determined, or after the cutting solution has been determined, and as you see here, he can actually flip the board if he wants to look at both sides. But after the rip solution has been determined, we would then set the blades in the saw and send it through. Here's a little line we've got set up. Optimizing in-feed system with the laser lines for the operator to adjust if needed. Here you can see, here he's just measuring the width of the board, and then it shows you with the laser lines the cutting solution that's been determined. It then takes the board underneath our top chain. The top chain comes down, the bottom rollers lift the board up, and it's guided into the saw rather than positioned against a fence, which a lot of times it bounces away from that fence, especially on high-speed type ripping applications. With our in-feed systems, we have solutions that can do 12 to 15 boards per minute. Another solution that actually does 25 to 30 boards per minute for high-speed applications for moldings and other things that don't require a glue line. But Paul can also build all the related handling equipment in the line. So any in-feed conveyors, any destackers, vacuum destacker for instance, to take the top layer of a bunk and put it onto the in-feed chains. Chains on the outfeed side to deliver it to a sorting line for your operators. Here's another configuration of your in-feed, again showing with laser lines the cutting solution to the operator, and then feeding it in. And this one is with the square edge boards like we're used to in the States. But it's measuring the board, calculating the width combination, showing the operator, then guiding the board into position, lifting it up against the top chain, feeding it into a moving blade rip saw. Now, as far as the different types of rip saws that we offer, we have machines, as I mentioned, fixed arbor, also with a moving blades on a single arbor. We also have a system that has 2 moving hoggers to hog the edgings. The next arbor would have up to 4 moving blades, so you have 6 moving units on that type saw. It can be offered in a glue line configuration or just for high speed. Our normal saw, our model CGL, is for glue line or in a high-speed application, non-glue line. That machine can have up to 4 moving blades. The blades are positioned with a servo drive. So those are some of our solutions that we have. Thank you for joining our